What is up, everyone? We are back on the DFS grind, and we are building around the clearest leverage spots on this slate by anchoring to dash rank, recent form, pricing, and matchup context. We are starting at quarterback with Sam Darnold from Seattle at 16,200 salary against New England, who have a tough defense overall with an opponent rank of 7. We like the volatility here because the ceiling is real. He just posted 30 fantasy points one game ago and carries a dash rank of 100 projected at 18 points with a reasonable salary to stack. He pairs perfectly with our top wideout on this slate. News-wise, Seattle just reset the wide receiver market for Jackson Smith and Jigba per multiple reports, including Essentially Sports and others, and that signals continued pass game-centric lean we want to capture with a Seattle stack. Our other quarterback is Drake May from New England at 16,500 salary against Seattle, who have a tough defense overall with an opponent rank of 3. May is giving us a steadier floor than Darnold with 19, 17, and 16 fantasy points in his last 3 and a higher projection at 21 points. The news cycle backs the confidence he is fresh off, leading the Patriots to Super Bowl LX, according to multiple outlets. So we are comfortable in cash, and as a bring-back to Seattle stacks. At running back, we like Kenneth Walker, the third from Kansas City at 4,700 salary versus New England, who have a tough defense overall with an opponent rank of 7. This is a ceiling play. Walker has popped for 39 and 21 fantasy points in his last 2, and the dash rank at 82 with a 16-point projection tells us we are buying spike week potential even in a tough matchup. His off-field indicators are bullish too. He joined the Chiefs in free agency per week. One recaps, and he is coming off a Super Bowl MVP pedigree noted across multiple articles, which supports big game usage when KC needs playmaking. We will also roster Ramondre Stevenson from New England at 13,200 salary against Seattle, who have a tough defense overall with an opponent rank of 3. The projection matches Walker at 16 and his fantasy points per game at 13, with recent scores of 16 and 12 point to stable involvement. In a defensive matchup, New England's offense often flows through Stevenson for chain-moving and red zone opportunities, which keeps his floor intact at a discount to the elite WRs. At wide receiver, our core is Jackson Smith and Jigba from Seattle at 11,600 salary against New England, who have a tough defense overall with an opponent rank of 7. This is the slate's alpha with a dash rank of 100, a projection of 27, and 23 fantasy points per game. He has erupted for 34 fantasy points one game ago, and the market confidence is real. Multiple articles report he just became the highest-paid wide receiver in NFL history with a 4-year deal, resetting the market. That contract context affirms his locked-in target dominance and leverage as our favorite captain play. For value and correlation, we like Rashid Shaheed from Seattle at 6,300 salary versus New England, who have a tough defense overall with an opponent rank of 7. The dash rank sits at 92 with a 10-point projection, and he offers big play and return game upside to complement a Darnold JSN stack. Recent coverage highlights him as an unsung hero for Seattle's playoff push and a dynamic return specialist, which is exactly the archetype that breaks showdown slates at low salary. We will also rotate in Mac Hollins from New England at 5,400 salary against Seattle, who have a tough defense overall with an opponent rank of 3. He is projected for 8 points with matching 8 fantasy points per game, and a recent 14 fantasy point outing shows he can pay off in a hurry as a bringback when Seattle pushes tempo articles out of New England. Note, he was near the team lead in yardage in multiple spots, so the path to 3 to 5 catches is reasonable at this price. At tight end, we like Hunter Henry from New England at 10,500 salary versus Seattle, who have a tough defense overall with an opponent rank of 3. Henry's dash rank of 93 with a 10-point projection and 11 fantasy points per game makes him a red zone-centric way to leverage Drake May stacks. Sportsline and others have highlighted Henry among top tight end prop targets, which lines up with his touchdown equity even in a tough matchup. Our salary saver at tight end is A.J. Barner from Seattle at 7,200 salary against New England, who have a tough defense overall with an opponent rank of 7. With a dash rank of 90 and an 8-point projection, he is a clean punt that still correlates with Darnold Stack's news notes that Clint Kubiak departed after a title run. And with new offensive tendencies settling in, ancillary pieces like Barner can sneak into short field scores in a grindy game. At kicker, we like Jason Myers from Seattle at 8,100 salary versus New England, who have a tough defense overall with an opponent rank of 7. The projection at 11 with recent 11 and 8-point games fits the expected field goal script when drives stall against a top defense. Multiple reports highlighted Myers' historic 5 field goals in the Super Bowl and how he even entered MVP chatter. So we are comfortable leaning on his leg in a defensive matchup. We will also play Andy Borregales from New England at 7,500 salary against Seattle, who have a tough defense overall with an opponent rank of 3, projected for 9 points. He profiles as a steady complementary piece to May Stacks. Recent articles emphasize how he made an immediate mark as the Patriots' primary place kicker as a rookie, which supports trust in tight scoring environments. On defense, the Patriots' defense at 6,000 salary projects for 6 points and has recent scores of 12, 7, and 5. This is a leverage pivot off chalky Seattle Stacks in a game we expect to be slow and physical with both defenses ranked highly. The complementary play is the Seahawks defense as a value at 4,400 salary with a 5-point projection. We like pairing Seattle D with Myers in lineups that fade a Drake May ceiling to capture field position and kicking volume. Here is how we are building. Core Seattle stack with Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith-Njigba, then add Rashid Shaheed or A.J. Barner for salary relief, and run it back with Hunter Henry or Andy Borregales for correlation. Alternate core with Drake May and Hunter Henry. Bring back JSN or Myers to capture stalled Seattle drives, sealing RB1 off with Kenneth Walker III in lineups that fade both QBs when we bet on Kansas City leaning on a star back, even against a tough defense, supported by recent spike weeks and the Chiefs-centric news cycle. If you need balance, rotate Ramondre Stevenson in cash-style builds for a stable touch base and touchdown equity. We are prioritizing JSN as our top overall play due to the dash rank at 100, a slate-leading 27-point projection, elite recent form, and the reinforcing contract news that validates his offensive centrality across game scripts.